Right Wing Watch put out a thing earlier this week saying an Oklahoma Senate candidate, this would be Jackson Lahmeyer, courted QAnon voters at multiple Q conventions now. Then he posted a pic of his daughter wearing red shoes, which QAnon believers see as a symbol of the cabal, and now QAnon is convinced he is a child trafficker.
Hey, that shit ain't funny, but it's funny.
It's so anyway, this article is bizarre, and Lahmeyer responds to it, which I'm gonna go into like kind of why I think he's not gonna be the guy anymore. But like, I don't know. I mean, maybe there are a ton of people out there who know the red shoe conspiracy, but I'm gonna say probably not. I mean, if you're getting canceled by QAnon, like you done fucked up. Like your campaign's over. I mean, most politicians don't respond to like really insane things; they just move on. But it's like even in his response, it's like super bizarro because it's like, now like it's like what was it like? It was something like one person has been. I guess red shoes represent pedophilia according to this individual. So I mean, he like literally knows the person who is lobbying the accusations, and he's like responding to it. It's really weird. So anyway, there's that going down. Then just more traditional fundraising. According to FEC filings that got filed last week for the first quarter or for the last quarter, Langford raised $785,000 and Lahmeyer raised $211,000. He ain't gonna be able to continue like this for long if he can't pull up his fundraising numbers. I mean, Langford not only has massive name ID and huge amounts of institutional support, but a massive fundraising advantage is gonna ultimately spell doom. What I will say though is Lahmeyer is very big on Facebook, and this is the kind of crap he's putting out. George Floyd mural destroyed by lightning, and he just puts, "Wow, that's interesting." ... And the replies are, as you can imagine, grotesque and horrifying. So, yeah, I mean, this guy, he's a massive culture warrior. He's like, feels like he's shadowboxing with himself and he's not raising any money. I don't know. I mean, I know the far right is really insane and that there's quite a few of them here in Oklahoma. But, I mean, when you have to lean this hard into the racism and QAnon and all that, I just got to think, even as a Republican, you're going to alienate enough folks to just not be able to pull this off.
Yeah, so a couple of things. Number one, I mean, if you are involved with a political coalition who thinks your daughter wearing red shoes makes you a child molester, maybe you should rethink the company you keep. Yeah. That's the first thing I want to put out there. Like, that's what? Okay. So there's that. Can he eat pizza? Because like Pizzagate, are they allowed to eat pizza?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is, like, yes, the Republican Party regularly engages the crazies to get enough of them to come out so they can win elections. Because you have to lean into the crazy some use to moderate on things like childcare. So you have to lean into them enough, but they haven't leaned into them so far as to the milquetoast middle, who are in some ways worse, right? There's a lot of milquetoast middle because kind of leaning back into what we just said, there's that milquetoast middle who think of themselves as like, oh, just good people with good family values. Well, if you're a good person with good family values, you'd be interested in knowing why indigenous people are so dispossessed in the state, right? So that milquetoast middle, that it's just, they consider themselves as good old, Christian folks. That's actually the majority here, right? And they love Langford because that's how Langford portrays himself. That's Langford's like core constituency.
Right.
We can get into another discussion as to why those good old folks are fine with Langford going to the border where children were snatched from parents and screaming racist shit. Again, just good old folks. But That's the majority, and Lahmeyer is not gonna. They're whenever you talk about red shoes and child molesters and that sort of thing, you turn them off, and so he's not gonna. That his path was never really existent in any meaningful sense, and now it's just getting worse. So that's how this is going to play out. But Langford's also, again, obviously the Pizzagate conspiracy theorists are horrendous, but it's those people who fancy themselves good old fashioned folk, just want what's best, et cetera, that are the largest impediment to progress, right? If you read MLK's letter to the Birmingham jail, it's the moderate. It's those just good old folks trying to figure it all out and want what's best. Well, if you want what's best, you'll vote for politicians that improve schools. If you want what's best, you won't be so fucking concerned about a 0.0005% tax increase if you're already making $300,000 a year, right? Those are they're the most, and they support Langford. That's going to win. But if you think about actual policies, they're fucking horrible too, right? It's not your kid can't wear red shoes, but your kid can go to a decent school. So I mean, fuck.
Or these are the ones, the good Christian folks who are on these like unemployment message boards, just like dragging people who don't want to work for $9 an hour and just pretending like they don't understand that you can't live on $20,000 a year or whatever. I mean, it's just, that's the bread and butter. They like their racism and their conspiracy theories a little more hidden. And Langford, I mean, in my opinion, I've always thought Langford like believed all that stuff. Like, I mean, I think he's deep in like the family, which is like, Christian nationalist type stuff. I've always thought he was kind of super radically far right privately. He just like talks in that weird deep voice that doesn't look like it should come from him and sounds like he's reasonable. So, I think this is a little too mask off, but we'll see.